In case you missed it, rapper YNW Melly, whose real name is Jamel Demons, is having a bail hearing today, which is a significant turning point in his legal career. In an attempt to secure his temporary freedom until trial, his legal team has presented what they consider to be a strong release package. They are adopting two primary strategies. One focuses on the cruel treatment Melly is supposedly receiving in prison, while the other focuses on the flaws in the prosecution's initial story. Collectively, they think this might persuade a court to release him on bond. Melly's life in prison serves as the first line of defense. Jamie King, Melly's mother, claims that her son is receiving unfair and even cruel treatment while he is inside. She asserted in a recent interview that she has proof that Melly is not receiving humane treatment, which would be against the rights of prisoners if it were true.
When you saw Melly's statement, just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life, as a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We've tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone too.
Regardless of the charges against inmates, jails are required by law to provide them with fundamental rights and decent treatment. His mistreatment, according to the defense, makes it even more urgent that he be released on bond. One of the most contentious elements of the initial case is the GPS data.
That would be the part where he's saying that someone just shut the car up and was trying to them. So I asked him if he was okay, where he was, and he's like, there's a car coming behind him, like hiding. He was like, there's some, yeah. He's like, yeah, there's some. I think they're still out here or something. So I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I'm okay. I said, well, where are Sack and Juvie? And he said, I don't know if they're in the car. I think they're...
The double murder of YNW Sack Chaser, Anthony Williams, and YNW Juvie, Christopher Thomas Jr., was allegedly staged to appear to be a drive-by shooting, according to the prosecution. They claim that Melly and fellow rapper YNW Bortlin, whose actual name is Cortland Henry, planned the killings, which took place inside a Jeep. But according to Melly's solicitors, GPS data from the car disproves this idea. They contend that timestamps and the Jeep's trajectory refute the theory that the shot occurred inside the car. Melly's defense team uses the fact that no handgun was ever found to bolster their drive-by claim. According to them, this implies that the gunman took the weapon and ran away, which is more in line with a drive-by shooting than a staged internal murder. The defense maintains that the prosecution case is further undermined by this crucial element. The state, however, is not giving up. Some of the material presented by the prosecutors is difficult to ignore, and they are ready to use it to contest the bail application.
So the first thing is I didn't have a firearm, so I can't know which firearm I'm going to use in order to replicate any of my tests. So I can't make tests for this determination because I don't know what was used.
Okay.
Melly's phone has yielded text messages that they claim he sent just hours after the killings, one of which plainly said, "I did that." The timing and wording strongly imply a potential admission of guilt, even though the text's context may be up for interpretation. A video that was discovered saved on Melly's phone further undermines his argument.
The PC Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, "I did that," and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time. The YNW Melly account says what?
After that, SHHHH.
Just 6 hours after the killings, Melly and YNW Bortlin are seen in the video, which was taken from someone's Facebook Live. They are spotted dancing in a parking lot without displaying any sadness at the passing of Juvie and Sack Chaser, who were frequently mentioned as Melly's closest pals.
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey! The dog still turn, regardless of what happened. You already know.
This conduct has sparked concerns in the public opinion court, as well as among the prosecution. The prosecution may use it to imply a lack of regret or even sociopathic traits, but it is not conclusive evidence of guilt. Then, the shocking news broke. Fresh accusations from an unanticipated source, a dissident O Block member. This person claims that Melly told the late rapper King Von, who was close to O Block and had personal connections to many people in the Chicago drill scene, that he killed Juvie and Sack Chaser for financial gain.
Did Vaughn really tell you that Melly told him that he was two friends?
He ain't come out and say, like, we got into an argument. And so, you know, if you know, when people could say something without saying it. And so he told me, like, once I posted what I posted, Vaughn was mad at me. Bro, why you put up there, bro? Walk the bam. I'm like, you sitting up here, like, you know the love we got. You do this for us, but you gonna trust that his two friends? And he said, them was trying to extort him. And so I'm like, if they was trying to extort him, then why are you still around them?
Melly allegedly refused to divide the group's profits with them. After all, YNW is an LLC, a registered commercial entity, not merely a band. Under the YNW brand, Melly and Bortland did promotional deals, sold items, and gave live performances. However, there were differences of opinion. According to reports, Juvie and Sack Chaser requested a portion of the profits, despite Melly's team's contention that they weren't involved in the financial side of things. This financial disagreement would offer a reasonable reason to get rid of them. But once more, this is only an accusation and hasn't been validated in court. Prosecutors, however, appear to be taking a longer approach. In order to have Melly and Bortland tried jointly in the upcoming trial, they have submitted documentation. They seem to have a psychological approach. Bortland might be persuaded to cooperate and testify against Melly if he genuinely thinks he is innocent due to the tremendous strain of facing life in jail. The purpose of this strategy is to incite internal strife among the co-defendants. Remarkably, during the initial trial, Melly's own legal team had already attempted to place the responsibility on Bortland. They maintained that Bortland was physically present with Juvie and Sack Chaser at the time of their deaths, and that he had gunpowder residue on his hands.
Issue here, and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together. It just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once, and also you get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking a penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase is the same. They're both capital crimes. You're seeking the penalty on one, not the other, but that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found guilty.
To confirm this proof, a forensic specialist was even consulted. It was obvious that Bortland, not Melly, was the one who had pulled the trigger. The two rappers may have become estranged as a result of this blame game. Sources claim that since the start of the trial, Melly and Bortland have not spoken. Bortland tweeted in a mysterious manner,
"Those were his lies." Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. And you don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with two bodies, car riddled with. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket, not Cortland Henry.
Mind games don't work on people like me, along with a handshake symbol, the same day Melly's mistrial was announced. Many saw this as a subliminal indication that he is willing to negotiate or, at the very least, oppose any attempts at coercion. Mariah Hamilton, Melly's ex-girlfriend, is another significant development in the case. Her biggest contribution to the first trial
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of residue and 2 two-component particles. And the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of residue and 1 two-component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was residue present on the hands.
Was her complete avoidance of it. Mariah was detained when she returned to the United States after allegedly fleeing the country to avoid a subpoena. Shortly after being freed, she wrote a mysterious message on Instagram saying, "Thank you to my village. You all have my undying love. Not my plan, but God's." The judge struck a bargain with Mariah, according to court documents. If you testify against Melly, you can leave.
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2023.
She was out of jail in 10 minutes after agreeing virtually immediately. Melly has suffered a serious setback as a result of her collaboration. Not only because of the information found in her iCloud account, but also because of her possible testimony. According to the FBI, they discovered audio recordings and messages in Mariah's iCloud that indicate Melly forced her to miss court dates during his initial trial. Even if Melly is found not guilty of the killings, this could still be considered witness tampering, which is punishable by a separate life term. The most startling thing about this proof is how it was discovered.
The state filing 6 new charges against Demons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a 2-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
Facebook discussions about Mariah's involvement by residents of Melly's hometown led to a more extensive investigation. In order to coerce Mariah into quiet, Melly allegedly used code language via jail phone calls, which YNW Juvie's father discovered by talking to neighbors. Melly has allegedly been prohibited from using jail phones for months as a result of these results. In an interview, Jamie King, his mother, publicly chastised the Broward County Jail for this, claiming that it is cruel to shut off a prisoner's connection entirely. However, jail officials maintain that if the phones were being used to conduct other crimes, the prohibition was warranted. Furthermore, their conclusion is legally sound.
Jamel Demons, YNW Melly, and Cortland Henry, who is known as YNW Bortland, are now charged with witness tampering. There was this kind of crazy way that Melly was communicating. He wasn't allowed to use the phone, but he was passing notes to people, and then this person's calling this person, and then that person.
Saying like to me, they going through extreme measures, trying to cover up or convince people not to testify, like Mariah mom. They was using code words like Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's baby mom.
They have documented proof that Melly was trying to interfere with a witness. Now, the witness tampering accusations could still put Melly in life in prison, despite the prospect of a second trial and a possibly effective defense strategy in the double homicide case.
My son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail, they don't give it to him.
Killings of YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser in 2018 are at the center of one of these 2 ongoing legal fronts, while obstruction of justice is at the center of the other. Every move matters in the high-stakes legal chess game. While prosecutors are expanding their probe and looking more closely, Melly's team is attempting to take advantage of flaws in the state's case. Playing the long game, both sides are gathering evidence and waiting for the ideal opportunity to make their most important move. The public is still divided since Melly's life and career are on the line. Proponents contend that the case has too many contradictions to conclusively establish guilt. The abundance of circumstantial evidence, phone logs, and witness accounts, according to critics, suggests Melly was more engaged than he admits. One question remains as this develops. Will YNW Melly get away with it? Or will one of the most contentious figures in hip-hop finally be brought to justice by the court system? The world is watching, the players have made their moves, and the judge is looking at the evidence. In your opinion, is Melly deserving of being freed on bond? Or is there simply too much chance that he would tamper with witnesses once more?